University of Missouri St. Louis College of Education podcast. Hello and welcome. My name is David Stouffer and I get to be the recruitment coordinator for the UMSL College of Education. Each week on this podcast, we will meet an innovator in the field of education. We will spend some time getting to know them and learning about their work and how it can help you and yours. It is my sincere hope that this podcast will be a source of encouragement and support as you work to continue impacting lives as an educator. We're here with three amazing College of Education undergraduate students, Emily Eden, Destiny Hannick, and Lauren Baker. I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves one at a time and some of the great things that they are doing. So let's start with Emily. If you would introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do with the College of Ed.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emily Eden. I'm currently studying to be a secondary math educator. I plan to be certified for both middle school and high school because I really enjoy teaching kids of all ages. I guess technically a junior. I graduate next fall of 22. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Destiny, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Destiny Hannick. I am recently a early childhood education major. I was doing secondary math, and then I realized those math classes are not for me. So I found a new passion in early childhood education. I guess according to my credits, I'm a junior. I'm not really for sure. But I am actually a teacher at an early child care facility. So, I love doing that. I get to chase around kids all day. So,
Lauren Baker, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Lauren Baker. I am studying Bachelor's of Educational Studies focused in parks and museums. I want to use that degree to become an interpreter for Missouri State Parks, which means I am forming a connection between visitors and what they're seeing in the parks and spreading conservation messages, things like that. At UMSL, I am a junior, I believe, just turning junior, yay. Other than that, I spend my time working with the student org, UMSL eduCATE, as their secretary, and I have a blast doing that. So I'm looking forward to my time here for the rest of my time here at the UMSL College of Education.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Emily, Lauren mentioned the eduCATE program that she's a part of. You started that organization, didn't you?
Yes. So about a semester ago, actually at the end of the previous fall semester, so fall of 2020, COVID was going on. All of my classes were online. And the thing is I was taking my first education courses at UMSL. So I didn't know any of my peers because I had not had a chance to meet them. And while discussion boards are functional as educational tools for online learning, it's not really the best way, in my opinion, at least, to get to know your colleagues. And so I approached my professor at the time, Dr. Julie Smith-Sodi, and I said, hey, is there a student org that I can get involved in? And she said, no, there's not, but we're always looking for students who might want to start one up. And so she was really integral in getting the first ideas into my head and helping me figure out how to start the student org. So it started by, I just popped into her virtual classes the following spring semester, so just this past semester. She allowed me to speak at the beginning of her classes to recruit members, and that's how I recruited Destiny and Lauren, as well as our treasurer and public relations officer, Sinead and Kelsey. And together, the five of us really worked together as a well-oiled machine. We were able to host meetings every week that ranged from, topics like talking about teacher tenure, to, just having fun game nights, because it was COVID and we all needed a break. We wanted to be able to form connections with our colleagues. And I hope that we can continue to do so in a greater capacity this semester.
Destiny, let's go back to you and tell us a little bit about what your role with eduCATE is.
Oh, yeah. So I am the vice president, Emily's right-hand man or woman, if you will. We are in the process of getting on social media. So once that's up and going, I'll be running one of the social media pages. I'll be the main person to kind of send out emails for our meetings. I mean, yeah, I can do a little, I can do a lot. It just depends on where I'm needed.
Awesome. And how did you hear about eduCATE and why are you a part of it?
So like Emily said, she had reached out to me. I was like one of the first few people she reached out to. And I seen her email, and at first I just kind of I swiped it away and I was like, I don't know if I have time for that. And then I was like, you know what? So I opened the email back up and I reread it, and I sat there and I thought, and I'm like, being a part of a student org would be great. So I was like, okay, but do I just want to be a member or do I want to be an officer? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shoot high because I always set the bar high for myself. And I'm like, I'm going to try for an officer position. And so I emailed Emily back and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you have anybody, but I'll be one of your officers. If we joined UMSL right when COVID hit. So we didn't know anybody around campus. It was just what we had seen through, Canvas for the discussion boards and everything. So
Lauren, let's hear from you. You said you're the secretary of eduCATE. Tell us a little bit about your role with eduCATE and why you're a part of it.
So, like I said before, my role in eduCATE is as secretary. I've never been a part of any clubs in my life, nor did I think I would like to be a part of any clubs. And initially, when Emily came into my class to speak about this club, I was sipping coffee behind a camera that was turned off, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And I saw the first meeting, and it was like game night, and I was like, well, that feels like a good time for me to step out and experience what it would be like to, say hi to classmates and be able to interact with people again. So I went to that first meeting, and I fell in love with the group. I loved the energy. It was really cool to be able to speak with other educators and get to share my passion for education with everyone. So my basic role, what I do is I take really good notes during the meetings. I keep everything focused because we all have very high energy. So someone needs to keep the group on task sometimes and say, okay, what are we doing about this? And I create the result that everyone's been speaking about and put it in the document and put it in our little drive. I also work on tasks, just getting things done with Emily and Destiny and all of the other group mates. And I just basically keep everything nice and organized and on task for everything. So
Emily, I can't remember if you said what the eduCATE term stands for and what the acronym is. Did you tell us that earlier?
Oh yeah. I think I told it. I said it before you started recording. But eduCATE, the CATE part stands for the Collegiate Association of Teachers and Educators, because that's pretty much the best descriptor for the population that compromises our group.
Yeah, awesome. Well, one last question for new students or current students that are thinking about education as a career. What encouragement would you give them and advice would you give them to choose a career in education? Emily, we'll start with you.
So I guess my advice would be is, if you truly have a passion for helping children learn in whatever your chosen subject may be, to just honestly, take some deep breaths. It's going to be hard. There's going to be a ton of challenges thrown at you, but the payoff is entirely worth it. I mean, just like specifically being a math educator, I have experience tutoring children, and just watching their face when the light bulb moment hits. Or I have some kids who start with me and they're like, man, I really hate math. I really hate doing this. And then I show them something. I explain a concept to them and they're like, Miss Emily, you're turning me into a nerd. Like the payoff to watch them learn to love a subject that you love, is totally worth all of the hardships that might be thrown at you, because, things change in the education field all the time. Like COVID is the huge example, right? We had an entire nation of teachers have to learn how to teach online and, completely change up their skill set. And it's tough, but totally worth it. So I guess my advice is to just persevere and persist, but also take care of yourself. So,
Destiny, how about you?
My advice would be, if you're coming into education, then it's gonna be worth it, and just power through. If you are not sure what you want to do and you're just kind of tiptoeing around the idea of education, take a student teaching class, or teach for junior achievement. Like, that's how I found out I was going to love it, because education was not my first choice, but I'm so glad I switched to it. Like Emily said, it's going to be hard. It's going to be grueling. You're going to want to cry. You're going to want to laugh, but the end result is just so worth it. It is so worth it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Destiny. Lauren, you're up.
I would say focus on what is making you happy in education. Focus on the goals that you are setting and trying to achieve. When you think about, what do I want to do with my education career? What goals do I want to accomplish? And work on setting and achieving those goals. One thing that I would say to also incoming students to the College of Education, all of the professors in the College of Education, if you're just going in and, you're not really sure about what subject you want to teach, where you want to go, what you want to do, all you know is that you want to teach, speak to the professors. Like, they know what they're doing. And the advisors too, they have a wealth of knowledge to share with you. And I just recommend speaking with those people, speaking with, your fellow peers who maybe have a little bit more experience, and getting their opinion and feeling out the programs for yourself. It's all about that experience and, sharing knowledge with others. So it's, all about communication.
Do we have Emily, Destiny, or Lauren, do we have any kind of social media for eduCATE that people can follow or check out?
It's in development. I apologize. We've got, a couple of officer meetings coming up to get things out there. I will say we have half a website up. If you go to UMSLeducate.com, spelled UMSLEDUCATE.com, you can see our website in progress. So if you want to just check it out, get familiar with how it's going to go, there's a fun button on there. That takes you to a surprise website. So
the other thing I was going to say really quick before we, all hop off, we do have a couple of emails that we send out. So keep your eyes out. It's really easy to push those emails aside, but they're full of all these really fun events that we're going to be holding. It would be a really good way for you to get to know your peers, even though a lot of the stuff is still online. So keep an eye out for those emails that are coming to the education students.
We are also on MyEngage finally. So, and new students can find us there as well.
I would like to offer a very special thank you to Emily Eden, Destiny Hannick, and Lauren Baker. Your work with eduCATE is providing leadership and support to your fellow students, faculty, and staff at the UMSL College of Education. If you would like more information on UMSL eduCATE, it can be found at UMSLeducate.com. That's UMSLEDUCATE.com. I am honored that you chose to join me today for the University of Missouri St. Louis College of Education podcast. I hope you'll join me next time. Till then, I'm David Stouffer. Thank you for the work you do. Never forget, you are making a difference every day.